When I posted on social media during the peak of the Indigo crisis, saying you'll be flying Indigo in 3 to 4 days, it wasn't praise and it wasn't a prediction. It was a sardonic reminder of the brutal truth that no matter how angry Indians were about cancellations, airport chaos, and ruined travel plans, they would still have to get on with their lives. And when they did, there would be only one realistic option on the table: Indigo, because that is the size of the monopoly they enjoy. That is how little choice we actually have in India's airline market. The point I was making then is staring us in the face today. When Indigo sneezes, India catches a cold. It's as simple as that. One airline going into crisis should not be capable of freezing an entire nation's travel grid. It should not be capable of inflicting economic damage that will soon be quantifiable. It should not be capable of disrupting thousands of lives and embarrassing India in front of the world. Remember, Indigo is the world's 9th biggest airline. Yet it did. The government, through Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, told Parliament today that the crisis was due to an internal Indigo issue. Fair enough. But that does not answer the real question that's on my mind, and I'm sure it's on your minds as well. Why did the Aviation Administration not see a crisis of this magnitude coming? How is it even possible that a sector so critical to India's economy and mobility has systems that cannot forecast or prevent a meltdown on the scale that we saw last week? That's actually scarier, in my view, than Indigo's own folly. What the government did get right is that it is keen on a market with more players. But again, the question writes itself. Why is that dawning only now, after a crisis whose symptoms are literally born out of a monopoly? If Indigo were the same size as some of the other airlines we have in our country, this crisis would not have been a fraction, perhaps, of this intensity. And perhaps it would not have happened at all. In aviation, size clearly matters, as do power and control. Like with all things in India now, we stand at the cusp of a delicious irony. We've groaned all our lives asking for the government to exit Air India and let private sector give the Sarkari carrier a makeover. That's happened. Now we're wondering why the government isn't imposing itself more on private airlines. So what now? How does the regulator ensure this never repeats? Clearly no safeguard worked this time. So what is the assurance that it will not happen again? Or are we simply expected to set aside our fears of lives getting derailed again and put our faith once more in the invisible healing forces of the free market?